Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my own story? It's anonymous. I am a woman and I want to confess that I am from Zim and I am running my saloon in an upmarket area here in Johannesburg. My confession, it is all about my love of money, the way that I love money, even when I was still very young. My mom, she used to complain a lot about the way that I loved money. You know how old I was when I started sleeping with men? It was when I was around about 11 years. I started sleeping with men simply because I wanted those men to give me money. The day that my mother found out that this was what I was doing, she got so mad. And then I reminded her that she should have gotten mad the time when I would bring clothes, when I would buy groceries, because she was no longer going to work. And her husband, who was my stepdad, also had slept with me, had dumped her for another woman. And if it was not because of me, I reminded her that we could have gone to bed hungry several times. So I was a big girl, I told her. And when she had me talking back at her and telling her that there is nothing that I do not know about a man, everything that she knows about sleeping with a man, I can even do better. And I had also slept with her ex-husband. She was shocked with the way that I had spoken with her, and she said, "You are a she-devil. The way that you love money, you are a she-devil." I love money so much that I even ate human flesh when I went to Nyanga, and I went there to perform rituals so that I can run a big business as I am running right now. So the rituals that I perform almost a month, but if I cannot do it, then I can do it the next month. I have to eat human hair. This will be the hair, pieces of hair that falls down when we are busy plating or styling my clients. I have to do this 3 times a month, and also leaving those pads that I use when I am menstruating, I have to leave it in one of my restaurants in a bin that no one, even my workers, are not allowed to touch it. I told them that as for this refuse bin, you are not supposed to touch it. It is only I. Even if I spend days without coming to this restaurant, make sure that you do not touch it. The reason as to why I do not want them to touch it, it is because it is my source of wealth. It is the one that brings people to that restaurant. And thanks God, the place where I got the space to run this restaurant, it is very close to the taxi rank. So it is always full. Taxi drivers, people that will be traveling, because at that taxi rank, it is a rank where you can find long distance taxis that are coming and going out of Joburg into different provinces. So people would be buying food and then they can eat before their taxis can leave Joburg. So I partnered with one of my friends, and God has a way of making you to meet with people that are like you. I met my partner, a South African, who was struggling. She had also done some rituals, but the way that she was making money, it was not a lot. When we met, we knew that we were supposed to become business partners. And at that time, I was just a desperate woman fighting against poverty. When I came to South Africa, I knew how to do women's hair, but it was hustling, working, and late at night I will be taken by this other guy from Zim who was more like a pimp. So you would work for him. Let's say if you go to Hillbrow, you get maybe like 5 customers, and all of them, then they pay you included 500 rands. Then on the 500 rand that you would have gotten throughout the night, then you would take a cut, a huge cut. It will give you only 200, and then you will take 300. So at the end of the day, you will be sleeping with a lot of men, but you won't be making any money. So I started looking, and then I saw that in Johannesburg, it is a place of opportunity. If you can run a successful business within a very short period of time, you can be making your own money. But I did not know how to do it. I had tried on my own to start a small business, but it was not working. That was when one of my cousin introduced me and told me that before she had went abroad, she had gone to this other powerful traditional healer there in Nyanga, and if I wanted, I could also go there. So I went and then I spoke with that traditional healer. I was scared because this man, when I arrived at his place, there is a place where he takes you and then you will be staying there because he will only ask you one question, and 3 times a day he will come and then he will ask you, are you willing to do anything for money? And before you answer him, he will go. The next day, he will come back again. Are you willing to do anything for money? And then before you answer him, he would walk away. Then on the 4th day, that was when I was called into the consultation room. At that time, because of the powdered tobacco that I had been smoking from the very first day that I arrived at that traditional healer's house, I was in this state of mind where I could see things in the spiritual world. I was taken into the consultation room and I was told that in order for me to become wealthy, there was a sacrifice that was needed. And he saw that in South Africa, I was going to become a woman that will be so wealthy and I will have a lot of money running my business, not even bothering about getting married. He told me to take 1 clay pot, and when I looked into that clay pot, I saw that there was a small tortoise. He said, from now on, this is your baby. This tortoise is going to be your baby. Wherever this tortoise is, that is where you are supposed to be each and every month. And this tortoise will demand that you give it your period blood. The day that you will stop having periods, then in that month, you are going to die. That month or the following month, you are going to die. I said, what if it happens that maybe I stop going on my periods when I am still this young? What will happen to me? He then said that God is going to make sure that it won't happen. But there is a stage where a woman stops seeing her periods. That is what I am talking about. When that time comes, know that within 1 month, 2 months, then this tortoise will start to eat away at your womb. Unfortunately, my daughter, you are going to die. Will you do anything? Are you willing to do anything for money? And I said yes. He then spoke with one of his grandson, and I was given a book in which I was supposed to write that I, Grace, not a real name, I have decided to sell my soul to the devil. I, Grace, I have decided, and no one has forced me. If it happens that when I get older and when I am no longer seeing my periods, if I do not see my periods anymore because my body can no longer do it for 1 month, for 2 months, then I allow my baby, the tortoise, to enter into my body, to feast upon my womb, and then let me die. Let me die, for I would have enjoyed. Then I signed and I returned back that book to the Sangoma's grandson, and I saw that in that book there were so many names of people that had went to that traditional healer and had done their own money-making rituals. In all of those people that had performed these rituals, this traditional healer, he has no responsibility to whatever will happen to you. I returned back to South Africa and he made me to promise him that I will follow all of his instructions. He said, I do not want to see this tortoise coming back to me to complain, because then I will send my short boys and they will fight with you. And if you are going to follow my instructions, your business, my daughter, it is going to flourish. When I returned to Johannesburg, things changed immediately. I started to get a lot of clients until one client said that there was a space at the place where she was staying close to her house, and there were a lot of rich people that did not want to go out for a long trip just to get their hair done. If I could manage to raise money for rent, and I said I can't, she said, okay, I'm going to borrow you. Within a couple of months, you should give me my money. I struggled for months. Suddenly, I started to see a lot of women that were wealthy, that were married to wealthy women. They came, and then I started doing their hair, their nails, and they were paying money without even hesitating. I kept on doing this, and then I was told it was time for me to start. 3 times a month, I have to eat the hair of my client as well as the nails. If a woman comes to me and if it is time for me to perform this ritual on that day, I am supposed to be there at the saloon. As the clients will be coming, then I will choose from amongst them that I would want to use her hair for the rituals. As I will be doing the hair, as it is falling on the floor, then I'll pick it up, placing it in a small plastic as if I am cleaning, and then later on I'll eat the hair without being cooked. This I do 3 times a month. When I am on my menstrual cycle, I know for the tortoise will climb out of that clay pot and wait for me until I will start to menstruate. Then I have to drive back home before I change any sanitary pad. I go back home and then I will sleep on my bed, and then the tortoise will come. I will be naked at that moment, open my legs, then it will come and start to lick the blood off from my private part until it is clean, without bathing until I will have finished my menstrual period. This, it can happen maybe for 5 or 4 days. I usually go for 5 or 4 days without bathing. I will be doing this lying on the bed. It comes and it licks me clean, and then I will put another sanitary pad, the used one. Then I have to drive to the restaurant as if I am checking on the guys that work for me at that restaurant, and then I will just dump the used menstrual pad inside that bin that no one is allowed to touch. This I have to do constantly. So I am living my life, and it is a limited time that was given to me by the traditional healer for the day when I will stop going on my periods. That is the day that I am going to die. My life will only be extended temporarily only for 2 months. Then I have to die. I was told that in those 2 months, I have to prepare for my funeral. For all of this wealth that I have, none of it is going to be left behind. He gave me an example, and he said, in those 2 months, make sure that you leave nothing behind. I am not even allowed to buy any properties here in South Africa. My business is able to do that, but I am not allowed to do that. For he said, if you buy a house, when you sell it, you are not going to sell it in 1 month. You cannot leave anything behind. Otherwise, you will be dying and waking up such that you won't even enjoy it. So make sure that you buy only assets that you can easily let go. As for the cars that I have, I just told myself that if it happens that maybe I stop seeing my periods when the time would have arrived, I will go and I'll just sell those cars for a little price, or I can just leave them even at the airport so that they can be impounded. As for the cash that I have, I'll start to withdraw the money the day that the tortoise will find out that I am no longer going on my periods. I will go around the world wasting all the money that I have in my account, emptying everything, buy myself a very beautiful coffin, and I'm going to make sure that I will die in a land that is so far away from home that will be so expensive for my relatives to bring me back to Zim, and I am going to use that money even if I would have died, but they will be forced to use that money that will be left in my account, empty it to bring back my body back to Zim. I can't leave anything behind. So that is the life that I am living, always spending, overspending. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister. That was the translation of that message. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Can you just imagine?